I am here with Marcus Smith. He is the creative director at Insomniac Games, and he's working on Resistance 3. So I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler from Resistance 2. Mr. Hale didn't make it.
What?
He didn't. So if you haven't played it by now, that's your bad. So where are we in the story and what's happening?
Okay, so Resistance 3 takes up where Resistance 2 left off, only 4 years later. It follows the course of Joe Capelli, who was the last Sentinel. He's the person who killed Nathan Hale at the end of Resistance 2. Spoiler alert.
With Resistance 3, what kind of cosmetic changes and gameplay changes are players first going to notice that have been changed since Resistance 2?
Well, I think the first thing they'll notice and hopefully really like is that we've returned to a lot of the things that made Resistance 1 compelling. The weapon wheel, so that players can choose how they play the game, is really important to us, so we've gone back to that. As far as the cosmetics, vast improvements to the graphics. We've spent a lot of time on our weapons. We have true iron sights. It'll feel similar, but very, very different.
How does the weapon wheel influence how people play the game?
Dramatically. I think Resistance 2, with its two-weapon system, had its place. In this game, it's all about survival. It's all about heroic survival in a brutal world. And as part of that, we just want to give you choice. We want the players to have as much choice as humanly possible.
What are some of the guns that we're going to see? And are there our familiar favorites there?
We've tried really hard to bring back a lot of these for this demo, just so you can see how different they are, even though they're very similar. So what you're seeing right now is the bullseye. As the bullseye is used, it will upgrade. It has 2 levels of upgrade in this demo. So you'll see, for example, one of the upgrades is the bullseye tag goes out and splits off into a number of directions. So you can hit multiple targets, and then you're tagged every time you pull the primary fire.
So right now, we're talking about sort of the weapon also has a secondary fire feature. So we should sort of make that clear first.
Good point. So one of the things about Resistance that makes it different than normal shooters is the alt fire, which is it's usually something that augments the weapon itself. For example, the auger is a weapon that we have that can shoot through walls.
And right now, you can see their heat signatures through the walls, and then you're able to actually shoot them through it.
Yeah, so it's really handy, especially in dark areas or against certain enemies, to be able to see them. So he's using that. As he zooms in, he can see sort of through these Chimeran iron sights. And then the alt fire for that is to put up its own shield. So that way, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can kind of have dynamic shielding.
Because it is important to have cover in this game because you do not have regenerating health.
We do not have regenerating health. As I mentioned, it's all about survival, and so part of that is as you get lower and lower on health, you're going to have to play differently. You're going to have to change your strategy, and you're going to have to go out and look for places to find health.
So let's talk a little bit more about the weapons upgrading. Are you going to be able to upgrade all of your weapons, or are you going to have to pick and choose?
You can upgrade all weapons. We're probably going to tune it in a way that you won't be upgrading all the weapons to all their highest points on the first playthrough. Probably have to work pretty hard to get the second big upgrade. But yeah, you can do all of the weapons have upgrades. So the more you use them, the more awesome they get. Kind of the payoff is there for you to use the weapons a lot. Bullseye is probably the best example because it already has a tag functionality that he just used.
So now the bullseye, the tag functionality right now is, you tag him and then the bullets will follow him if he goes behind cover.
Exactly. In the case of these enemies that we're seeing right now, they're called long legs. They jump around a lot. It's really hard to get a bead on them. So the best way to really, or one of the best ways to really do it is to use the bullseye, tag them, fire at them, so that way, even if they're jumping around, you're still going to be hitting them.
And it looked like I got exploding rounds there. Now, is that something I picked up, or is that an upgrade that I got?
That was probably you were either using the Magnum that has exploding rounds naturally, or you hit their heat stacks, because their heat stacks are exploding. So that gives you a strategic option. You see a bunch of guys together, you may start hitting their heat stacks, you blow them up, it's almost like a grenade. You can take out a bunch of them.
And so, but you're also going to have to limit the player by ammo limitations as well, because if you have unlimited auger ammo, you're going to be...
That's not a game.
It's not really a game. You just hit the win button and then you skip straight to the end.
It's super easy. So you'll be acquiring weapons throughout the environments. You'll be killing enemies to take their weapons. Since this is humans, kind of their last stand against the Chimera, you'll have caches all around, hidden all around. The survival sort of vibe.
And I do see we have some friends that are helping you out.
Right.
How much are they actually going to help you out, or how much are they just kind of leading you in the right direction?
They're pretty effective. Right now, I would say they're probably about 60% of what they should be. They're kind of leading you around.
We should say this is not finished.
Right. This is a pretty early demo.
Yeah.
And there's definitely still a lot of work to be done. But we really want the humans that you're fighting with to feel effective, to feel like you're in it together. You're either going to band together and fight, or you're going to die alone.
Now, so I've noticed that you've actually upgraded a lot of levels in this demo. Now, is that faster than, is that just for the demo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we really wanted to give people kind of a bite-size chunk, an amuse-bouche of video game playing.
Right.
And so we ramped it up. So you do upgrade the weapons really quickly in this demo.
Tell me a little bit about the enemies that we're fighting right now.
Okay, so what is happening here? So that guy that just flew up in the air and blew up, that's a long leg. It's a new enemy to Resistance 3. He jumps around a lot, and he will be jumping down to try to get into your face a lot. There's hybrids and steelheads who are making a return from Resistance 1 and 2. Wow, and they just got laid waste.
Yeah,
too.
they sure
Like,
did.
every time I point something out, and there's somebody
and
that's dead.
he didn't make it.
Oh boy.
Because the auger is a great weapon.
Yeah, this upgraded auger has triple shot, so it spreads out. It's much easier to hit guys through walls. So
I would definitely be upgrading the auger, is what you're telling me.
I think that's a good call, for sure. So this is an enemy we're calling the Brawler. He's big and mean, and
he's kind of like a giant gorilla.
He's a lot like a giant gorilla.
He's kind of awesome.
And yeah, he again is trying to get up into your face. He has armor that is kind of his weak spot, because if you can take it out, it really messes with his equilibrium. But you'll see, and it'll change as you kind of deform him. So right now the weak spots are kind of up on his shoulders.
Right. Okay. So now we're looking through the auger, which is that targeted heat sensor weapon, and so now we can actually see what his weaknesses are.
Right. And then as you take those out, he'll start to sort of rip off the armor pieces. His gauntlets will start to become the heat signature weak spot, and eventually you're just trying to whittle him down to take him out.
What I like about him, though, is that he actually can interact with the environment in what seems like a meaningful way. Like, he can just throw those cars around and nudge them even when he walks by them. They just kind of move. So it's not like they're these static parts of the environment, and it's not like this car gets crashed now.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely his thing. He deforms the environment in a way that you start to get used to. You're sort of comfortable. Like, this car is good cover. I'm going to stay here. He comes in and just wrecks the place, and now all of a sudden you have no cover. You're having to use your allies a lot more, because that's one thing is you're all fighting him together. So in the beginning, he's going to be targeting your buddies, but if you aren't quick about taking him out, he's going to kill all your buddies, and now you have to fight him yourself, and he's a lot more deadly when he's focusing on you.
Because I see that he has also, if you're getting close to him, he's got the fire to clear out the space around him.
Yeah, he has weapons on his gauntlets that shoot out explosive rounds, like almost an air-fueled grenade, that will, kind of, if you're trying to hide out, that's a bad way to do it, because he'll shoot those things right up in your grill.
So hopefully a player is going to be able to defeat him before he kills all of his buddies.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened here, huh?
Not really. It's a sad truth that sometimes there's casualties of war.
He died.
I think he won.
No, the monster died.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so sad.
So where are we right now?
Right now we are in Haven, Oklahoma, and this is where the game begins. This is Joe Capelli and his family live here. This is a small enclave of humans who are sort of squeaking out an existence, if you call it that.
A kind of crappy existence, I'd have to say.
Pretty crappy existence. In this brutal world, Chimera have taken over. You do what you can. There's no Starbucks. You kind of got to just hide out. So they're all basically living underground. Now the story with this level, the Chimera are here. Obviously, you're fighting Chimera, they're attacking. So you and the other able-bodied fighters in town are out defending against them while the rest of the town can escape through their escape tunnels, predestined escape tunnels. Now, in the background, there's a new Chimeran sort of mech-ish. It's a machine. It's up in the sky. It's called a terraformer.
Okay, so that's this tornado that we're looking at in the background here. That's
Correct.
Sort of that's the terraformer.
That's a terraformer. These things are massive. They're up in the sky. They form their own weather systems. They're so big you can't even see the top of them. And they just have this giant beam that comes down and destroys everything. They're destroying. So if you're hiding out under an old car, forget about it. If you're miles underground, forget about it. It's over. So you're defending against the Chimera so that everybody can escape. And in the meantime, this thing is bearing down on you. So as the level progresses, you're going to start to see the winds whip up. You're going to see a lot of dust and debris, and it's all the result of this terraformer getting closer and closer and closer.
And so the point of the terraformer, from their perspective, is just to wipe out all life in the area.
Absolutely. So little scouting groups will go out if they have any encounters with humans. They basically call in bigger amounts of troops to come out, and then after that, sort of trailing in the background, will be one of these terraformers that will come and just wipe that area off the map.
All right, thank you very much for coming out and showing
much.
us Resistance 3. When are we going to be able to buy it?
September 6th.
Of this year?
Of this very year.
It's amazing.
Yes.